Hey, what's up, y'all? Good morning. Uh, I am sitting here in the hotel room in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's sitting on my days off, and people have been asking me, what is tribalism? So I figured I'd do a short video explaining exactly what tribalism is and how it benefits us as heathens. So, with anything else, when you're trying to describe anything else, the best way to get into it is to just go straight for the textbook definition. Okay, so what is tribalism? Tribalism is the state of being organized into a tribe or tribes. Okay, well that sounds pretty obvious, right? The feeling a tribalist is someone who gathers a strong sense of loyalty to one's own tribe or social group. Okay, so simply put, tribalism is the breaking down of society into small groups that agree with each other on geopolitical issues, moral issues, religious issues. Basically, you're getting people that from the same culture, the same belief system, and ultimately with the same goals of that they would have in society. You're getting them together in small groups and letting them flourish in that way. Okay, tribalism is being kind of put out there as this new type of thing that threatens all Western civilization, and it's really not. Tribalism is probably one of the oldest forms of government out there, period. Okay. With tribalism, we are a naturally tribal people. Okay. We started off as tribalists, basically, which is a small family gathering together and just pulling their resources together and making sure everybody has what they need to survive. Okay. And then as society grew, our tribal structures started to get defined. Okay. So we actually, in Northern Europe, we actually started defining our tribal structures into basically what is now modern parliamentary systems. Okay, the United States Constitution is at its very basic core. It's a result of European tribalism. Okay, where did tribalism go? If it's our natural state, where did it go? Okay, well, while we were all in our little happy little tribes and everything like that, you had a group of people move into the area that just wanted to seek power. Okay, they wanted as much power as they could get for themselves, the individual. Okay, so you had a king or someone who declared himself a king over all this land. Okay, and now all of a sudden, everyone's not allowed to be in their own little small tribes because they're proud of who they are in those individual tribes, and they only come together under mutually beneficial practices. Okay, that was no longer allowed. Okay, because you couldn't have people taking pride in being parts of all these little small tribes. You had to have one guy at the top of everything that ruled over everyone. And you had to take pride in being his person, being a follower of him. So that's where the concept of kings came from. Okay, that's what we know today as nationalism. Okay, nationalism is not necessarily a bad thing. It's being portrayed in the media as something that's horrible. Basically, all nationalism is taking pride in being a part of a country. American exceptionalism is a good example of nationalism. Okay, the feeling of saying, "Hey, I'm an American. I want everyone else to take pride in where they came from, who they, what country they came from. But I also want to take pride in where I am. I'm an American. I believe that America is the greatest country on the face of the planet. And the fact that everyone's trying to move here kind of proves that. Okay, American exceptionalism is nationalism. Okay. Then what we have now, what we're kind of going into right now is called globalism. Okay. Globalism is the thought that nobody's special. You can't be proud to be an American. You can't be a proud Canadian. You can't be a proud Honduran. No matter what country you come from across the planet, we're all the same. Everyone's equal. Nobody is special. That's globalism. Okay. So now that we know the difference between the different types of government structures, let's focus a little bit more on tribalism. Tribalism, once again, is our most natural state of being. Okay, it's where the individuals are going to flourish, because that's where you get the most innovation. You get the most government is always best when it's done at the smallest possible level. We learned that in the American experience. Okay, we didn't really start having these huge national crisis problems with the breakdowns of our society. We've always had problems, but I'm talking about the breakdown of our society that we have today: the riots on the streets, the civil unrest, the social economic problems that we have. We never had those before, because we started and we didn't have those before because we started breaking away from tribalism and into nationalism. And now we're having those issues again as we break away from nationalism and into globalism. Okay, so tribalism is our natural state. Why is it important for us to get back to a tribalist state? Okay, because it's how we ensure that our values are represented. Okay, if we're all, let's say, Texas, okay, if the smallest we're allowed to break things down into is Texans, we're all proud to be Texans, okay. Well, there's so many microgroups inside of Texas, that if you were to represent all of Texas as one, nobody is getting represented, okay. There's still way too many people to really have a sense of identity with any of them. Okay? And when you start lumping large sums of diverse groups of people into one area, one geographical area, that's when you start having problems. That's when you start getting the social economic breakdown of society. That's when you have the civil unrest, because these different groups are in the same area, and they're all told that they're all the same. Okay, that none of them are supposed to take pride in who they are individually, that they're all the same, no one's special. So you get one group of people say, whoa, wait, but my people have been oppressed for how many years, so I think we are a little bit special. And another group of people says, no, I really don't think you're special. So that's when you get the disagreements. Disagreements lead to different things. If it's a severe enough disagreement, you end up with riots and whole 9 yards. Okay, so how do we avoid this being lumped into one big mass of people that we're all supposed to get along with, that we're all supposed to just take pride in being a part of, when we don't really have any identity with these people? Okay, well, I'll tell you, you break down into smaller groups based on values. Some people will break down into smaller groups based on church beliefs. That's how you have the Protestants, the Catholics. You have Presbyterianism. You have Baptist. You have you have so many different church groups, it's ridiculous. Okay, why? Because you have, let's take, what is it? Evangelical Lutherans. Okay, Evangelical Lutherans tend to be extremely left of center. Okay, they tend to have a view that is politically to the left, where Baptists tend to have a view that is politically to the right. Okay, you get a bunch of Baptists and Lutherans in the same room and tell them to all get along. It's not going to happen. Okay, so what they do is they break down into small little tribes. Okay, you have the Lutherans over here, you have the Baptists over here. They do what they want to do in their own little corners of the world, and then they come together under mutually beneficial transactions, voluntary transactions. They're not being forced to interact with each other simply out of equality. Okay, they're allowed to go to church at their separate little churches. They're allowed to do their little thing, and then they come together under mutually beneficial transactions that benefit both of them. Okay, it's kind of like going to the grocery store, and I'm a heathen, but my grocery store cashier is a devout Christian. None of that's going to be a problem. Why? Because she goes to church wherever she goes to church. I hang with my people, and I go check out. She scans my stuff. I pay her the money for the stuff. We smile. We say have a great day, and then that's the end of our. That is the end of our transaction, and if we want it to be, that's the end of our association. Okay, there's nothing wrong with wanting to break down and be around people who represent your values, who represent your thought process, who think like you, who have the same behavior patterns as you do. There's definitely nothing wrong with taking pride in being a part of a group who's doing good things in our society, who is taking care of their own people, and giving each other room to flourish. Okay, there's going to be a lot of media outlets that tell you that absolutely everything is wrong with that. They're going to call it racist, even though in this video this is the first time I've mentioned anything about race. They're gonna say, well, tribalism is racist. No, it's not. It doesn't matter what reasons you're breaking down into. Americans, people around the world naturally segregate themselves based on a number of different criteria. Okay, if you do a sociology experiment and you go to an all African American party, okay, what you're going to see when you go to that party, I guarantee it, because I've done the research, I've done the experiments. What you're going to see when you go to that all African American party is you're going to see small groups of people socializing with each other, smaller cliques. It's not everybody all in one room just intermingling. You're going to have small different cliques that divide themselves based on different things. So you're going to have different groups of people who all think like each other. You're going to have your small cliques, your small friends. Another thing you're going to see is they're going to segregate themselves based on skin color. But wait, they're all African American, right? They're all blacks. No. Okay, you're going to see your yellow bone hanging out with other yellow bone people. You're going to see your light complected people all hanging out with other very light complected people. And you're going to see your darker complected people all hanging out with darker complected people. Okay? It's because naturally, as a people, as we're, like I said, we're a tribal people. Naturally, we tend to gravitate towards people that look like us, talk like us, think like us. It's where we feel the most connection. It's where we feel most safe and most comfortable. Okay? We start having problems as a society when an outside force comes in and says, no, you can't act like that. You can't be around, you have to accept these other people into your group. Well, why? Why do I have to accept these people in my group? I don't have any commonalities with them. We don't listen to the same music. We don't listen to why do I have to accept it? Well, because you're racist if you don't. No, I don't want to hang out with people that I don't have anything in common with. Well, you're an asshole if you don't. No, I'm not. It's natural. We hang out with people that we have things in common with. So there's the basic rough around the edges breakdown of what tribalism is and what we're trying to accomplish as a heathen group, as what Odensbach Kindred is trying to accomplish by breaking down into tribal groups. Okay. It's going. Tribalism, once again, is our most natural state. It's the state of being that most people are going to flourish. Okay? Breaking down into a tribalist group, breaking down into different tribes, gives us the opportunity to focus on things that are important to each individual tribe. Okay? Don't be a part of a group that's working on education for kids if you don't have kids. Okay? You don't have to be a part of that group. You can if you want to be, but you don't have to be a part of that group. No one is forcing you. Okay? You become a part of groups that represents your values, that represents the things that you're trying to do to leave your mark in this world. And you do it together while supporting one another as a group and take damn every bit of pride in that. So that's tribalism. That's tribalism in a nutshell. That's how it's going to benefit our society, especially as heathens. We need to get back to the nuts and bolts of it. We need to really bring it back in. Because we're different. We're not Christians. We're not Muslims. We're not Hindu. Okay, we have our own identity with our own way of thinking about things, and it doesn't mean that any of those things are wrong or bad. It's just, we have our own way of thinking, and we are allowed to take every bit of pride in that as we want to. So y'all have a great day. I'm going to wrap this up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on the link below, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.